What is up, guys? Welcome back. We are back for Game 3 of the group stage for the Garena All-Star Championship 2016 English broadcast provided by Garena Esports Philippines. Of course, we are going to be your casters for today. Coach Arctic at your service, along with the awesome Iconic right here beside me. So, Iconic, so far, this is going to be yet another game for Philippines. This is going to be their last game, I believe. And this is somewhat of a very intense game because this is a make-or-break game for Singapore because they're currently 0-2. Exactly. And if they lose this one last match, things are going to look really shaky for them moving forward, especially going up against Thailand in the next game.
Exactly.
But nonetheless, here we go, pick and ban for the third game for today, Philippines and Singapore. So far, Iconic, what can you say about these bans that we're seeing?
So these are all standard bans, except Singapore is actually giving a lot of respect to the Philippine top laner and the jungler. Banning out Poppy, something that GLC has played all throughout the tournament, and also Zac, because Tamsu's signature champion is Zac. Olaf, Jace, and Nidalee, they're actually very standard bans because Olaf and Nidalee are the best junglers right now in 6.21, and Jace is very strong in the top lane.
Okay, so there we go. Team Philippines locking in the Syndra. I'm personally a fan of the Syndra going into the 6.21 patch. Personally, as I've been saying continuously yesterday, probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest mage for that mid lane right there. And interesting, the Jhin into the Zyra. What can you say about this, Iconic?
It's actually one of the strongest bot lanes that we've seen all throughout 6.21, even in Worlds. If you get the Ashe Misfortune, it also kind of matters how you execute it, because even though we saw it at Worlds, we don't know if the Philippines can actually play this bot lane composition to the exact precision that the Rocks Tigers brought versus SKT. So I don't know. It's actually a very lane dominant poke oriented bot lane that wants to fight all the time and snowball the Jhin. So I don't know what the Philippines is going to opt for yet, so they actually just opt for an Ivern and the Rek'Sai pick instead.
Very interesting. And for the Ivern, we have seen the Mineski team in particular, I believe during one of the local tournaments for the Philippines, they have played Ivern for the support role. So it's going to be very interesting if they do opt for this, especially since the Rek'Sai has already been locked in by Thompson. So I'm assuming that if we are going to see Ivern in any other lanes, it's definitely going to be the support. But what are your thoughts on this Ivern as a support as opposed to a jungler?
The reason why people can go for Ivern support is he actually gives a lot of reach. He makes ganking so easy for the junglers with his Q. It actually helps the Rek'Sai jump onto the enemy champion. So it gives Tamsu more opportunities to snowball this bot lane. As we can see in the Philippine team, usually they just leave JLC to farm on the top lane while they get EXO and the bot lane rolling. So it's kind of opens more gank paths for Tamsu to work around, especially with the Rek'Sai that's super strong in the early to mid game. It gives them so many points of attack that it obviously shows that Singapore's bot lane is not safe.
Definitely. And there we go. So as we did see earlier, there was kind of somewhat of a hover earlier on the Caitlyn before they decided to go for the Ivern instead. And indeed, we are going to be seeing that Caitlyn locked in. Kind of makes sense because of the passive coming from Caitlyn, and which will hugely benefit from the brush that Ivern pops out of nowhere, basically.
Exactly. Aside from that, you wouldn't want to opt for any short-range AD carries, because if you pick any short-range AD carries except Caitlyn and Ashe, you're going to get destroyed by the Jhin Zyra matchup. Just because their range and their amount of poke that the Jhin Zyra can dish out, if you're a short-range AD carry, you're just gonna get obliterated. You're gonna get zoned and probably just lose the game off of that. And so we also have a Lissandra getting picked up by the Philippine team on a very common top lane pick for the Philippines. So it's a very meta pick in the Philippines, but we haven't seen a lot of the top lane Lissandra in the international scene yet.
This is actually very, very interesting because, if there's one thing that I really love about JLC, it's these insane flanks. And I guess Lissandra kind of has the tools to make that happen. Aside from the teleport, you have the glacial path as well. And then here, looking at the composition from Singapore, they did lock in that Vladimir and Graves. So it could go either way. I'm assuming this could potentially be a mid Vladimir, or there we go. So we're kind of seeing a little bit of flexes here and there. Not really sure whether it's going to be top Vladimir or mid Echo, or a mid Vladimir and top Echo.
most likely it's going to be a top echo just because of how squishy Singapore's composition is. So as we can see, as I was talking about earlier, the Ivern gives so many of options for points of attacks against Singapore's bot lane. You can see as well that the Lissandra pick can also attack from behind using that glacial path across terrain as well, suddenly appearing in the lane. So I would put all of the attention right now on the Singapore bot lane. It's going to be a bloodbath. I really expect the Philippines to focus on this Jin Zyra just because even though they are very strong laners, usually when you run poke compositions, they poke bot lanes, they usually end up pushing the lane, so they can be punished easily by Tamsu, by TG, and by JLC. But if Singapore can land a good ultimate coming from Zyra, it might be able to stop all of the engage coming from the Philippine team. So it all depends on the execution of Vera.
Okay, and there we go. So we're going to be checking out this awesome video from Team Philippines.
Monsoon has been used, and so is Emperor's Divide there. A lot of pain here. Canada trying to isolate 3 people of IPP, keeping them away from the carries. And meanwhile, JLC is here on the back. You have not saved your carries at all because that will be a double kill for me. That's JLC.
Meanwhile, that ultimate like Glenn so much damage, but the burst is there. However, it is not enough. Hey, hitting from the back line, nice barrels coming from Light. The spirits are real, and it looks like Imperial Protein will be getting the 5-for-0 exchange. Very well played by Imperial Protein. That's the dragon for them. And
At sa taas na stand dito si Tamsu pero nandito na si Canon. Pero John Lloyd Cruz dodging the spikes mula dito.
Both junglers flash, and now the gap has been closed, and that
lane na yun. Now, Tamsu is willing to trade up with TG. James in the house, mga kaibigan. Alam mo na natin, tatapos connected. James is standing over the cannon barrage dito na Cannon now chasing up TG. Isang baringa lang. Oh, that's gonna tayo dito. Oh, it's gonna be a playful trickster in, pero 3 members collapse onto him, and that's gonna be Su, my man. I mean, nice Su. Now, flashes in. Wow! Aggression, man!
jumps down, and Tamsu takes another kill. Exo getting chunked down super fast, but James will be deleted immediately, and now TG in the middle of 3 people there.
Feel damage na nanggagaling kay
Yes,
Tamsu, man.
Tamsu is gonna chase him down, gets a double kill, and the turret.
Easy lamang tayo mga kaibigan dito. 0-1 still, ladies and gentlemen, after that blunder dito. Ni Cannon have to take note. Suzy has no flash. It's gonna be, oh my god, Exo flashing in. Killing
Kinakagat niya dito si Duel. Wow! Napakagandang stun mga kaibigan. Pero nako, EXO is doing it para kay Bird at mukhang may mga kaibigan. At wow, nakibag 2-on-1 dito si Nidalee. Pero wow, winalis bigla ni si
Wow, explosive. Yeah, the ultimate drop onto the there from EXO. He flashes out. He's still safe, but not really, because flashing in with laser force that do not have the damage, and Henchizo goes down.
Wow.
EXO finishing off JR
Oh
Evans
my
if
God.
it's no problem, as DXD trying to kite EXO away, but Noel here with Dark Binding does miss, but a double kill for
Oh, pero that is Jaja getting bursted down, and the kill is not that optimal. First blood in the hands of Nami, taking on that from Kimson gets popped here, and he of that Labs respite members of Imperial Pro Team are low below 300, but it's gonna be hate cleaning up. Is this sticks I am looking into?
Shurima is real. Ito na ang wall-to-wall mga kaibigan. Kaso nako, Dragon Ball Z Gaming unang namatay kanina. Hinahabol sila dito ng TLC. At ito na si Suez. Ito na ang comeback ng IPT. Napakagandang ult mula dito kay Light.
Getting caught really low there, but Marky though too close to the enemy, and now looks like IPT might even take the advantage.
Mga kay Hermes, pero ito tinayuan ng pilay dito si Bird. Chrono break pero walang damage na nakuha at mukhang mamamatay. Trias, pwede mga kaibigan. Meron ako! Mukhang, wow, grabe. Napakagandang ult.
Yun yung bomba.
Sa kanya, pero yun nga, binobomba mga kaibigan at si TG tinatang nilang lahat. Mukhang masastan ng Pineski dito pero hindi sila nastan na para.
And there we go, an excellent montage of some of the best plays that we've seen from Team Philippines. But hold that thought right there as we go into Game 3 of the group stage for the Garena All-Star Championship 2016 between the All-Star team of the Pro Gaming Series representing the Philippines versus the All-Star team of Singapore representing the Legends Circuit of Singapore. Of course, this is going to be quite the intense game for today as both teams have a lot on the line at this point in time. And we're going to go for Team Philippines on the blue side in the top lane. We have JLC on the Lissandra in the jungle. We have Tomsu on that Rek'Sai in the mid lane. We have Exosen on the Syndra. And to round things up in the bot lane, it's going to be Hate on the Caitlyn for AD carry and TG on the Ivern for support.
So for Singapore, we have Revive on the Echo top, we have BBTY on the Graves jungle, and we have Kralix on the mid Vladimir. We have LY4 on the Jin, while we have Vera on the support Zyra.
Yes, there we go. And so far, based on what I'm seeing here, you know, nobody gonna go for anything fancy. Gonna be fairly standard laning, no invades whatsoever from both teams. Playing it a little bit safer, knowing that a lot is on the line for both Team Philippines and Singapore at this point in time.
I'm actually looking forward to this battle of vegetation at the bot lane between the two supports, because I don't think Singapore has much experience playing against an Ivern support. It's actually something that's very unorthodox. EG actually bringing it out as a surprise pocket pick. So I wonder how Singapore will actually respond to this Ivern pick.
It's actually a very good point that you made there, because when it comes to these interesting unorthodox picks, you know, it can go both ways. Either it performs beautifully, you know, because of the element of surprise that Singapore isn't quite prepared for the support, or it could kind of falter, you know, if you don't play that unorthodox pick quite properly. But knowing TG, knowing that they have been running this Ivern here in the local tournaments for the Philippines, this is going to be a very interesting thing to happen for Team Philippines right here as we go into this match.
This is really good coming out from JLC. He's actually pushing the wave into Revive's lane. Usually you would expect the Echo to be pushing up so that he can slowly raise you to level 2 and start harassing you with the phase dive. But JLC actually beats him to level 2, denies him any chance of being aggressive, and puts him on the back foot for the entire laning phase on the top side, already starting with 3 minions ahead.
Tomsu wanting at this Rift Scuttler early on and spots out this early ward. And there we go. A little bit of a contact here. Tomsu being caught out by both BBTY and Vera, and will be escaping from that with such style, I'd say.
So this is usually what would happen in the bot lane. You have two range poke oriented champions versus a Caitlyn and an Ivern. An Ivern doesn't actually do much, especially at level 1. So you'd expect the bot lane to push in. And with the bot lane from Singapore pushing in, Vera actually goes to ward the dragon and spots out Tamsu instantly, giving so much information for the Singapore team. And now they know that Tamsu was there in the right side of the jungle, so they can now be able to track where Tamsu will be and where his next gank will go.
It's actually quite true. And you know, for this matchup, it's very interesting, Iconic, because this is something that you don't really see. But based on just this champion Ivern and this matchup that we're seeing, Caitlyn Ivern versus a Jin Zyra, who do you think has this advantage going into the early phases of the game, particularly for the laning phase?
Particularly for the laning phase, I would give it to Singapore. But one thing you cannot discount is the fact that Caitlyn is one of the best poke-oriented AD carries. So I would skew it to whoever actually has minion control.
And there we go. Exosen gonna be caught out there by BBTI, but will be ghosting out of there. But then again, 2 summoners taken down from Krelix right there. Might be a little bit scary knowing that, with both summoners down, Thompson might have a little bit of an easier time getting a gank onto the Singaporean mid lane, but we'll see what happens.
So far, we have actually a CS lead for both the top, for actually all lanes except for the jungle and mid for the Philippine side. So you can see that Exosen was actually busy in terms of harassing Krelix in the laning phase, forcing him to burn both summoners in exchange for his ghost, but had to back off the moment the Grave showed up. So I think net win, PGS actually has a really good advantage. Tamsu also getting the information on where BBTY is, so you'd expect the bot lane from the Philippines going a little bit more aggressive, knowing that they are safe from any ganks coming from the Singaporean jungler.
So basically, from what we're seeing here from Team Philippines, it would be much more advisable to see much more of the aggression, taking advantage of what Thompson has on that rec side, and basically the overall, just the pressure that Tamsu has on that rec side from what we'll be seeing here. And here we go. Puts brush there. I'm actually looking forward to how much hate can maximize the potential he has on that passive. Instead of just one while being in brush trance, 2 stacks to get that headshot right up there. Ooh.
Note that Tamsu has been actually wasting a lot of time trying to figure out where BBTY is to feed information to him, while BBTY has just been power farming his entire time for the entire first 6 minutes of the game. Has a decent CS lead, already back and bought his 2 longswords and the boots of speed. Going to increase his clear time exponentially as compared to Tamsu. So ideally, Tamsu would want to rush to level 6 back and then use his ultimate to go back into the jungle, but just by what BBTY does, it puts him on a makes him stronger right now, and will make his ganks more effective if he ever chooses to do so.
That's true, and in that sense, Tamsu, it's kind of probably overthinking it a little bit, knowing that, trying to figure out where BBTY is, while BBTY just kind of being comfortable in his own jungle, trying to get as much farm as he can early on. But ooh, JLC planning a little bit of something on Krelix and going in on the Krelix, but will be going for the Sanguine Pool, and BBTY going to be there to respond. A teleport coming in from Revive, and will he be going in? Yes, that is going to be first blood for the Singaporean mid laner right there. They're giving chase to JLC. Will JLC be able to escape from this? Exhausts the flash. BBTY continues to give chase. Will JLC be going down? No, not quite. BBTY still giving chase, but there we go. The Echo gonna be responding to that as 2 of them are about to converge onto JLC. Will JLC be able to survive this though? Still trying to run for dear life. What is gonna be happening here? Revive, and here we go. Glacial Path coming out from JLC, and will be going down. That is gonna be a 0-for-3 trade in favor of Team Singapore.
That was so sloppy coming out from the Philippine team. JLC had flash, he had ultimate, but he chose to open with the Glacial Path, tipping off Krelix that he was about to get ganked, giving him enough time to use the Sanguine Pool and avoided the Frozen Tomb by JLC. So JLC the Philippine team could have done that better. It could have been executed properly had he flashed in instead. And what happened was, as you can see, JLC actually didn't get the Frozen Tomb off because Krelix got the Sanguine Pool. Exosen using his ultimate, but then by a sliver of health, Krelix still lived, and they were able to turn it around.
Yes, there we go. And a kill off onto Live4 right there in the bot lane, thanks to somewhat of a splendid gang save from Thompson. But then again, this is definitely what you'd expect from the Philippine team when you have that Rek'Sai on your side.
I think also Singapore, they actually preempted that fight. BBTY was in the right place at the right time. Revive had the TP ready. This is a way different Singapore than we were seeing yesterday with the miscommunication.
Very true.
They read that like a book, because as you saw, the top lane and the mid lane of the Philippines actually backed together to get item spikes, and then Tamsu backed after to get his items. Then they planned to abuse Krelix's lack of summoners, but then Singapore reading that really well, positioning BBTY towards the mid lane and Revive getting ready with the TP. So wow, they read it, and the Philippines, really sloppy play coming out from them.
Quite true. And here we go, Tamsu though, getting steal the blue buff from the side of Team Singapore right here. And will we potentially be seeing another gank here? They are not aware of the presence of Tomzu. There we go. Tomzu going to go in. A flash being exhausted out from Barra. Going for Life 4. And Life 4 will be going down once again to Tomzu. 2 and 3 now on our scoreboard with not that much of a gold difference. And that is going to be Tomzu ulting out of there to head straight for his jungle to get a little bit more farm. But the JLC and Exosen right there. More action coming in. Kralik still with a slither of health and will be able to escape from that with Exosen very low on mana right there to follow anything up further.
That was actually a super smart play coming out from Tomsu. This is what we were talking about in pick and ban space. The different methods of attacking the bot lane of Singapore. Tamsu, knowing that Life 4 didn't have any summoners.
And there we go, hold that thought right there. Will Thompson be going in? But JLC a little bit too low for comfort as Revive gonna try to get the kill onto JLC, but will be ulting out of there.
So he actually knew that LY4 didn't have any summoners. That's why Tamsu went back for the return gank. He actually baited out the flash from Vera, but the real prize was the Jhin, not the Zyra. So really smart play coming out from Tamsu, but a very questionable gank coming out from the Philippines. They keep focusing this Vladimir, even though he has Spectre Scowl. Lissandra and Syndra both are magic damage. That Spectre Scowl has prevented him from dying 2 times already. Very smart itemization coming out from Kralix. Usually that's what Vladimir would opt for as the first item. So focusing all of your magic damage onto a Vladimir that has Spectre Scowl is not advisable. So very weird decision making coming out from the Philippine side.
And looking at the CS here, you know, Hate actually having a really great time. Now roughly more than 20 CS difference in favor of Team Philippines bot lane here. But Iconic in the top lane though, this is another story happening for JLC. 65 and 84. What do you think attributes to this deficiency in the top lane?
One of the things that attributes to this deficiency is because of how greedy the Lissandra is itemizing. Take a look at the difference between the item choices of Revive versus JLC. JLC has 1 item completed and that's his boots, while Revive is already up by around 800 gold because of the Sheen. Plus he also has corrupting potion as well. So it looks really grim for JLC just because Revive was able to get 2 minions plus the 20 CS lead. It's already caused one of his components to be completed already.
And here we go. So looking around at the map so far, I love how Tomsu is kind of taking the proactive step. You know, this is the Tomsu that we have known him for in the Pro Gaming series. Really just so much confidence going into the jungle of Team Singapore right here, trying to get as much as he can, trying to deny a little bit more farm from the graves of BBTY. And here we go, a little bit happening in the mid lane, but not quite. BBTY just kind of standing there, maybe trying to attempt again. But here we go, Life 4 and Vera as well. But they will be spotted out by that blue ward from Team Philippines, and Exosen will be backing off from that after spotting them.
JLC is actually in the bottom lane. He wanted to gank LY4 again. They know that the Zyra doesn't have flash, so these are still the different attack points coming in from the Philippines, abusing Singapore's weak bot lane. So right now, with poor wave management, had the Caitlyn managed the wave better, the wave should have been pushing towards the Philippine bot lane, but instead it's slowly pushing up to them, making the dive 10 times more riskier because of that turret. So very questionable play, but interesting because
oh, and there we go. Hold that thought for JLC getting the ult onto the Vera rather. And TG will be going down. That's going to be 2 kills for Team Singapore in return. Very interesting there. You know, Philippines kind of had the momentum, but what do you think happened there?
well, right now the Philippines is playing very cheesily. If you can just see, they rotate their top lane, who already is 30 CS behind, puts him into the bot lane and tries to go shut down the AD carry again, who's already 0-2. They also invest so much time into that.
That is a kill onto Vera right there. Very well played, Tomzu in 8. And there we go, Revive gonna be running away from that. The teleport coming in from JLC. Will they be able to get another kill off? But no, BBTY will be walking away from that. 4 and 5 now on our scoreboard, fairly even with the gold for both teams. It's still anybody's game.
Yeah, it's still anyone's game, but Philippines, some of their decisions are really questionable right now. And BBTY, I got to commend the jungler of Singapore. He is reading these ganks like a book. He is always at the right place at the right time. He was there when the Vladimir was getting ganked. He was there when the Jhin got flashed to Frozen Tomb by JLC. So I gotta commend BBTY. Hopefully this performance goes better. As you can see, the contrast between BBTY and Tamsu. Tamsu isn't always at the right place at the right time. He's usually spending his time covering top lane because JLC was at bot for a few minutes, while BBTY has been counter ganking properly, while Tamsu has been focused more on power farming. So the difference in jungling styles is pretty interesting.
And so there we go. So again, a little bit more silence on the rift for both sides, but we'll definitely, no doubt, we will be seeing more action later here. Look at this gold difference. You know, actually not, I wouldn't even say gold difference, gold equality, because things are just so near. But as far as what both teams should be accomplishing, you have been mentioning that Team Philippines, you know, making quite a number of mistakes so early in the game. What do you think should be their conditions going into this early and what they should be doing, what they should be avoiding? But hold that thought right there. ExoSen being caught out by BBTY. Krillix will be going on to ExoSen as well, and there will be a kill going to BBTY. 4 and 6 on the scoreboard now in favor of Team Singapore.
Well, they should play around their strengths, and right now their strengths is hate, because both top lane and mid lane of Singapore are itemizing magic resist, and that kind of renders JLC and ExoSen practically useless. The only targets that they can actually go for right now is BBTY and LY4, also Vera, but they have no chance whatsoever of killing Kralix right now. Revive is also another champion that they can't kill,
So here we go, Tamsu trying to clear out this wave here to prevent Krellix from getting any more push onto that tower right there, and we'll be going back to this jungle to farm up accordingly. But yeah, as you were saying, look at this though, 900, well, 1,000 gold difference, still nothing particularly significant. But yeah, that's actually going to be quite the trouble now that you mention it. The magic resist being built by the side of Team Singapore. Hate looking like the, I'd say the silver lining right now in this case, because there's not really that much damage. But hold that thought right there. JLC and Tamsu catching out Revive right here will be exhausting the ult, but still giving chase to Revive. But will Revive be able to escape? And look at that movement speed. Will be able to escape from that, and Tamsu and JLC, unfortunately, effort did not pay off right there.
had BBTY been there, they would have probably gotten the kill onto JLC, but he was busy backing. But Tamsu picks out Revive.
Look at the aggression. But unfortunately still won't be able to get the kill. Revive gonna escape with a slither of health remaining, and will be backing off from that.
Yeah, this is very troublesome coming up for the Philippine team because they can't get any kills. They can't stop the snowball coming from mid lane and bot lane of Singapore. Just because of this magic resist. Not a lot of people know that how big an effect a Spectre Scout has against a AP Mage counterpart. So, especially when the Lissandra is building towards Proto Belt, it won't be as effective because of all that magic resist.
There we go. Blue buff going to ExoSen right there, trying to relieve some of the issues that he's been having in this mid lane so far. 0 and 2, not exactly the best start for Team Philippines in general. Although, like you said, Hate performing, on the other hand, performing beautifully on this Caitlyn. 3-0 and 1 with a 30, roughly more than a 30 CS lead in comparison to the Jhin, which is now 0 and 3. Not exactly a good position for the Jhin. But then again, as I've been saying about this Jhin, you know, sometimes you could actually dominate the lane early on against the Jhin. But then again, what makes Jhin so interesting is that going into the mid game, what really contributes to him coming back is that curtain call, you know,
Exactly.
getting assists, or in some cases even the bonus, getting kills just through that current call right there and regaining relevance into the game right there.
Exactly, because as we were talking about during the first game, Jhin has such high pick potential because of his long range abilities. So usually Singapore would want to abuse this.
There we go, Flash being exhausted from JLC after seeing BBTY and Revive going all on aggressive, but here we go, we have Tamsu in for the response, and there we go, going on to BBTY. BBTY going down very quickly, and that is going to be a kill onto JLC. Very beautifully played and very swiftly played by Team Philippines right there.
There we go. As I said, the Philippines can only kill with their top lane or their mid lane. They can only kill the jungler, the AD carry, or the support. They have no chance whatsoever of killing the top lane or the mid lane of Singapore. And this is a beautiful siege being set up right now by Team Philippines. They probably get first turret from this as well because of the minions. Wow.
There we go. Will they be pushing the snow? They will be backing away, unfortunately, because of the creep wave that ultimately got exhausted. And look at this. This is a very interesting setup here. Look at all the brush in front of the tower of Team Singapore, and they will be warding that as an extra precaution in case any surprises come up. But there we go, another brush down, and the ult coming down from the side will be defending top for JLC right there.
But as we were talking about in Champ Select, this bot lane is the one to match because whoever gets an advantage that's when that they can't stop the advantage from snowballing. So as you can see, the Caitlyn was able to to manage the wave properly. With also Vera didn't show a lot of aggressiveness in the laning phase, so it actually didn't. They weren't able to execute double range poke compositions properly. Maybe because the item was there to stop any sorts of aggression coming out from Singapore. So now you see a 50 CS lead for Hate. Usually a Caitlyn versus a Jhin, usually a Caitlyn versus any AD carry, you just expect a 20 CS lead. But as you can see, she has 50 CS ahead just because of the difference in the play styles. If the Zyra actually tried suffocating Hate during the laning phase, he wouldn't have this big a lead against LY4 right now.
And here we go, BBTY responding to the bot lane. They do not want to give this turret just yet to Team Philippines, knowing that, Team Philippines could... Oh, there we go, red turret going down for Team Philippines, and they will be getting that first turret along with the additional bonuses that come with it.
So one thing that's really nice about Syndra and what makes Syndra a top tier pick is her ability to wave clear really fast. As compared to a Vladimir who has to wait for his E to charge up, the Syndra can just use her dark spheres onto the minion wave and just clear it really fast and then roam. So that's a lot of added pressure against Singapore because of the ability for Exocent to be roaming. And aside from that, JLC has been shown to just keep roaming around the map the first few minutes of the game. So there's a lot of movement and rotation coming out from the Philippine team as compared to Singapore, who's playing more reactionary to the Philippine aggression.
And that's actually a very interesting point that you raised, because looking at the goal difference right now, usually during the previous games, but hold that thought right there, Tom's going to go in for live 4, hoping to get the kill, still continuing to chase on Flash being sauce, and there we go, they continue to give chase, but will Thompson be able to get the kill? And no, will be backing off from that after seeing a potential teleport response from Revive, but will be canceling that.
Wow, that was really smart from Thompson. He was able to burn 2 summoners from that. He actually couldn't kill LY4 because he had no backup. But Singapore really trigger happy there with the teleports as we saw yesterday. So Revive with burning his teleport transitions, the Philippine team transitioned into a cloud break for them right there.
Indeed, and Singapore just wasn't aware of that. No vision whatsoever around that dragon with the exception of the surrounding brushes, but still that was a fairly easy trade for Team Philippines right there, 5 and 6. But yeah, as I was pointing out, if you're gonna look at the previous games of Team Philippines, they usually had these instances wherein they were leading in kills, but as far as the goal difference, like the enemy would still somewhat have the upper hand. But hold that thought right there, curtain call coming from Live 4, but will not be continuing back.
So we are now actually going into the mid game. It's actually a very smart rotation from the Philippines, rotating their mid laner to the bot lane to start the slow push, while keeping Hate in the mid lane, because Hate can actually wave clear better than the Syndra, especially when the Syndra does not have blue buff. So it actually stops any impending siege coming from Singapore. They actually read Singapore siege, so they rotated the AD carry there and they rotated the Syndra to bot lane, starting a slow push. Now, I wonder what the Philippines will do with that slow push, because Singapore sent their Jhin to the bot lane, so now they have a numbers advantage. Now the Philippines has an opportunity to siege up mid. They can also rotate accordingly towards the Jhin if the Jhin pushes up.
Indeed, and the funny thing is that the critical is down as well, so like, even though if the Jhin decides to fall, but hold that thought, Tamsu trying to spot out the Jhin right there, but unfortunately misses out just a teeny tiny bit, but all good for Team Philippines right there.
This is why you usually see the Rek'Sai's, the more popular Rek'Sai's pick up the warding jungle enchantment, because when you're burrowed, you're actually as blind as a bat. So it's best to use that to also, aside from getting vision control, it also helps you actually find the enemies to kill them. So yeah.
There we go, TG being spotted out by Revive right there after kind of a misstep, overstepping that brush and ultimately getting spotted. But still, Thompson, look at the aggression. JLC also just hanging around a little bit in the bot, hoping to try to get a pick off. Although, while the rest of Team Singapore right now kind of converging into the mid lane, with the exception of Revive.
Well, this is the Philippines playing the same game. They have a slow push at bot lane. They have someone matching top, while they have the Caitlyn constantly wave clearing mid. Can wave clear faster than a Vladimir, so the Vladimir will always be pushed up to his turrets. So inevitably, the Caitlyn will actually get some chip damage onto that mid lane turret unless Singapore actually forces anything. So with this low push, it also forces Singapore to allocate 2 champions to the bot lane. So it kind of gives a lot of freedom for the Philippines to move around the enemy jungle and get vision control. So
There we go.
this is a major improvement. I am surprised that the Philippines were actually capable of this kind of macro play, obtaining vision control of the right side jungle, while also rotating their AD carry to mid lane to wave clear and to pressure Kralix as well.
Indeed, and that's what's very interesting about Team Philippines. You know, there's actually, for me, Team Philippines, they're performing beyond expectation for me because the synergy is absolutely insane. You know, these are like literally 3 different teams coming together for this all-star Team Philippines, and so far they've been performing as though they've been, you know, playing with each other for so long, although some of them have worked with each other in the past, but still knowing that it's been quite a while and seeing the synergy that they have, absolutely amazing.
So this is one of the problems of playing reactionary. Things get taken from you, like that bot E2. But we have a flank right now coming out from Revive. He's teleporting to the left side of the river.
There we go, Team Philippines in a little bit of a tight spot. Curtain call coming up, but there we go. JLC trying to convert onto Veer, but then the curtain call is doing no ton of damage. But there we go. Exosen trying to get the kill onto BBTY, but will be escaping. And here we go, Daisy just dealing a ton while Krelix caught in a tight spot. And there we go, Rampage for hate right there, and then will be exchanging kill onto JLC, but still Exosen trying to deal as much damage as he can onto Krelix. Thompson gonna go in on Krelix, and that is gonna be another kill. 2 kills for Team Philippines, but Revive still gonna try to get a kill onto TG, but it will be ulting out of there. So far we have a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Team Philippines, I believe. So fairly equal ground as far as the kills.
That was actually a very interesting fight. There's a lot of things to break down there, like JLC jumping into Vera, using his entire combo on the Singaporean support, but gets exhausted, so doesn't even get Vera past 50%, less than 50%. And then the team fight there, as you can see, they're setting up the team fight, but then Revive sets up the flank. Philippines notice that, so they actually rotate, but Tamsu gets caught in the mid up front. So JLC moves forward, goes towards Vera, while we see the focus of the Singaporean team is onto the Philippine backline, while they're slowly getting distracted by JLC. So there's no more damage going into the Philippine team because the AD carry and the support from Singapore are busy with JLC. That's the reason why they lost that fight. You actually see a very aggressive flash in by the Vladimir, but gets saved because of PG's shield.
Very interesting. So obviously Team Philippines, I'd say, kind of came up a bit more better in that fight as far as what advantages and what they were able to pick off from that major. That was a very explosive clash right there. So many things happening at once, but still 7-7 on a scoreboard, but with a 6,000 gold lead in favor of Team Philippines.
So right now, it's important that EXO doesn't lose this mid-1 tier turret, because if he doesn't wave clear this properly, they're going to lose that turret and they're going to lose a lot of map control.
And TG taking the curtain call to save Exosen from taking a lot of damage. So here we go, JLC trying to get a flank, but will get person down. Thompson getting the kill onto Vera, and here we go. Team Philippines kind of hesitating a bit, but Thompson is still going to go very aggressive onto BBTY, but will be backing off on that. Revive going to be responding, trying to get the kill, as trying to get some vengeance right there, but no. Team Philippines just still kind of hanging around, but there we go. That is going to be a 1-for-2 trade, though, in favor of Team Philippines once again.
That major fight a while ago, Singapore had the right idea, but JLC actually thwarted their plans.
Here we go, more fight happening here. Revive going to be ulting out of there, while BBTY going to, but Krelix going to be taking down Exosen. Oh my goodness, this is quite the interesting fight that we have here. Again, 2-for-2 so far, and Team Philippines will be kind of pulling back a little bit more there. 3v3 left, and yeah.
Team Philippines actually overstayed there a little bit. They actually couldn't get the tier 2 mid turret. They were still forcing it as if they had the advantage. They had no summoners, they had no cooldowns, but they overstayed their welcome, and their Exosen gets punished and loses. So Philippines, very up and down. Sometimes they make good plays and then they make bad plays. So Singapore, again, playing very reactionary. The moment they try to make a play, the Philippines actually make a good counterplay with JLC zoning out the backline of Singapore, cutting out all the damage. So
here we go. Looks like Team Singapore really wanting on this mid turret. JLC going to be going in with the ult. And there we go. Thompson trying to deal as much and follow up, but still Thompson in quite a bit of trouble. Here comes the curtain call coming from Lifor, but will be saved by TG. Excellent flash in there to save his fellow teammate. Very well played there in the nick of time, not to mention.
Singapore, they really want this mid tier 1 turret right now. Both of their side lanes actually slow pushing into the Philippine side. So they set up the two slow pushes at both side lanes, and then they wanted to pressure mid. But what they can't discount is the amount of wave clear that the Philippine team has. So Singapore has the right idea, but they're executing it pretty sloppily. But as the mid turret, it gives the most amount of map control to you. That's why the Singapore is prioritizing this tier 1 mid turret. But looks like they can't execute it properly. Especially with a Vladimir. A Vladimir and a Jhin, it's super hard to siege. These aren't exactly the best sieging champions as compared to a Caitlyn. So the Caitlyn just pushing them off of the tier 1 turret once again. So
Very interesting how Singapore is committing. They really want in on this mid turret for their side. Really helps open up the map once they are able to take that, actually, because so far they haven't taken a single turret yet, while Team Philippines on a roll with 4 turrets already being taken. But here we go, Tomsu getting caught out here, but I believe with that tankiness we'll be able to back away from that.
because one of the reasons why the Singaporean team actually want to get this tier 1 mid is because they haven't established any vision control whatsoever past the river, and that is what they need. A Jhin excels with picks. This kind of composition, an Echo, you have a Jhin, you have a Zyra. If they can get a pick, the enemy target is obviously going to get obliterated. So they want to get the picks onto Hate, they want to get the picks onto Exosen right now, but they can't do that without the map control that the T1 mid is actually stopping them from having.
Very interesting. We have a Baron attempt here coming from Tomsu, already half out. But here we go, the teleport coming in from Revive, and Team Philippines will be back onto that. But Revive going to continue the teleport there. JLC getting caught out there by BBTY. Will he be able to escape though? And that is going to be Revive taking the kill onto JLC. Revive continuing to give chase to the 4 members of Team Philippines right there. Trying to stop Relics there. But here we go, the current call coming up once again from Life. Will he be able to snipe the target? Shut down onto Revive by Tomsu, and Krelix trying to escape, and there we go, a kill for Hate again. 1-for-2 trade in favor of Team Philippines.
That was really bad from Singapore. Their AD carry, their Graves, their Zyra were separated from the 2 frontliners, the Vladimir and the Echo, and they get punished. They get obliterated by the Philippine team.
There we go, Tomsu is just not done yet, trying to give chase to Vera. We will be able to get that kill quite easily. Rampage for Tomsu right there. 4-1-7, absolutely amazing. Very classic Tomsu. This is the type of jungler that we know Tomsu is. Such strength and, very consistent performance actually so far in the PGS All-Star. Or rather, the Garena All-Star.
Well, as you can see in the Singaporean team, your only sources of burst damage are actually your Graves and your Jhin. Echo.
There we go, hold that thought right there. BBTY just being taken down. Team Philippines converging so hard, and we'll be going back to this Baron right there. Team Philippines really playing this really well. Going into this mid and late game, 13-10, but still the goal difference almost at 10,000, and they will be taking this Baron with relative ease with no response from Team Singapore right there. Very well played by Philippines Pro Gaming Series All-Star team.
The hard part about being a Jhin is you get countered so hard by Randuin's Omen. So there's no chance that he can kill Tamsu, and the gold is actually distributed only towards the jungler and the AD carry of the Philippines, and the Jhin can't do anything against both. Because if he goes toe-to-toe against this Caitlyn, he will get obliterated just because the Caitlyn already has 2 items up onto him. While if he goes against Tamsu, he's just going to get destroyed because all of his auto-attack damage, all of his crits will get reduced by 10% because of this Randuin's Omen. So this Jhin does not have any options whatsoever. Very smart itemization coming out from Tamsu, by the way.
There we go, and Team Philippines looking very scary with this Baron buff. With all the momentum in the world, they really want to start knocking on the doors of the base of Team Singapore right now. 13-10. Again, the goal difference is just so bizarre, like almost more than 10k actually. And Tomsu being chased down by Revive here, but we'll be backing off from that as Tomsu, just so tanky along with the Baron buff, the wave just coming in, and Singapore really just have to defend this base because people are just knocking onto Team Singapore.
This is very hard for Singapore to defend because aside from having the Philippines having a Caitlyn, one of the best Siege AD carries in the game. They also have Baron buff enabled, and they have Daisy out already for the extra CC. So looks like they're going to force it in game.
There we go, Revive in the middle of the fight, but Curtain Call not able to deal as much of an impact as they would hope. BBTY taking down Exocen, but here we go, Krellix easily going down to TLC, and Philippines just continuing to give chase. BBTY, will he be the next target? But no, TG just continues to give chase to BBTY here, and that is going to be a kill. Tomsu is now dominating. JLC going very aggressive onto the members of Team Singapore right here. Life for trying to run for dear life with a slither of health, and Team Philippines wanting to try to end this game. Look at them, Hit pushing as hard as he can, Revive trying to do what he can to defend this turn, but then again, Team Philippines with 4 members, it's a numbers game at this point. JLC on a killing spree, getting the kill onto Revive right there, and have all the makings of finishing this game. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the game for Game 3 of the Garena All-Star Championship 2016. Congratulations, Garena Pro Gaming Series All-Star Team, Team Philippines. Wow.
Wow, that was crazy. Like the last fight, Team Philippines did this exact same thing, but instead of JLC focusing the backline, it was EXO. So a point that I wanted to raise earlier was that Echo and Vladimir are both sustained damage champions, and the Graves, the Jin, and the Zyra are the ones that are dealing the burst damage. So if you separate the two, the front line won't be able to deal enough damage to kill anyone on the Philippine team. And that's what the Philippine team did exactly. They just zoned away the backline of the Singaporean team, reducing their damage to nearly 0, so they couldn't kill Hate, they couldn't kill Tamsu. As you noticed, it was actually weird because you had the AP mages being the front line. You had JLC always going in, dying for the team. You had EXO going into the team, zoning the three burst sources of burst damage from Singapore, and that just gave Caitlyn enough time to just out DPS the Echo and Vladimir that were in her face, especially with TG peeling for him as well.
And there we go. That's actually very interesting. You know, Team Philippines, they kind of had a shaky start as we saw in that early phase. But then again, going into the mid game, going to the late lane, again, the amazing synergy that we don't normally see of Philippine teams just coming together for, then again, this is all-stars, you know, some of the best players that we see coming together, and it's just working. Philippines is just working magic with this roster right here they have going into all-stars. So final thoughts for that game right there, Iconic.
I feel like Singapore played too reactionary and they lost it all that way. Because if you don't show any signs of aggression whatsoever, things will be taken from you, and that's what the Philippines did. They slowly started chipping away at the first bot lane turret. They got first blood turret there. They started getting turret after turret after turret from Singapore, because Singapore were not making very proactive plays, and when they were making proactive plays, they got punished by the superior team fighting from the Philippines. So it looked very grim when the mid game started.
Right, very true, and I'm just absolutely amazed right now. But nonetheless, congratulations, Team Philippines. Unfortunately, Singapore now 0-3 kind of ends their run here in the Garena All-Star Championship Series. But nonetheless, I gotta hand it to them. They've been trying their hardest. They've played beautifully. You know, we've seen some favorites, you know, really play their heart out there. But yeah, really, my heart goes out to the Singapore team right there. They played their hardest, and I gotta commend them for that. But yeah, nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, that is Game 3 of the Garena All-Star Championship 2016. Of course, for those of you that want to check out the rankings, you can check it out at allstar.garena.vn. And we have been your shoutcasters today. Once again, this is Coach Ark at your service, along with the amazing Iconic right beside me. We will be back for Game 4 of the Garena All-Star Championship 2016. Stay tuned. Gonna go in, a flash being softed out from Bear, going for Life 4, and Life 4 will be going down once again to Tomsu. 2-3 now on our scoreboard with not that much of a goal difference. And oh, and there we go, hold that thought for JLC getting the ult onto the Vera rather, and TG will be going down. That's gonna be 2 kills for Team Singapore in return. Very interesting there. BBTY going down very quickly, and that is going to be a kill onto JLC.
Teleporting to the left side of the river.
There we go. Team Philippines in a little bit of a tight spot. Curtain Call coming up, but there we go. JLC trying to convert onto Fear, but then the Curtain Call is doing no kind of damage for their Exos and trying to get the kill onto BBTY, but will be escaping. There we go. Daisy just stealing his ton while Krellix caught in the tight spot, and there we go. Rampage for Hate right there, and he will be exchanging kill onto JLC, but still Exos trying to deal as much damage as he can onto Krellix. Thompson going to go in on Krellix, and that is going to be another kill. 2 kills for Team Philippines, but Revive is still going to try to get a kill on TG, but it will be ulting out over there. So that so far we have a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Team Philippines. TLC trying to get a flank, but will get bursted down. Thompson getting the kill onto Vera, and here we go. Team Philippines kind of hesitating a bit, but Thompson is still going to go very aggressive onto BBTY, but we'll be back off of that. Revive going to be responding, trying to get the kill, as trying to get some vengeance right there, but no. Team Philippines just still kind of hanging around, but there we go. That is going to be a 1-for-3 trade build in favor of Team Philippines.
That major fight a while ago, Singapore had the right idea, but JLC actually thwarted their plans.
Here we go, more of a fight happening here. Revive gonna be ulting out of there while BBTY, but Krellik's gonna be taking down Exosen. Oh my goodness, this is quite the interesting fight that we have here. Again, 2-for-2 so far, and people will be kind of holding back a little bit more there. 3v3, the teleport there. JLC getting caught out there by BBTY. Will he be able to escape though? And that is gonna be Revive taking the kill onto JLC. Revive continuing to give chase to the 4 members of Team Philippines right there. Trying to stop Krellik's there, but here we go. The current call coming up once again from Life. Will he be able to snipe the target? Shut down onto Revive by Tomsu, and Krellik's trying to escape. And there we go, a kill for Hate again. 1-for-2 trade.
Looks like they're going to force it to game.
There we go, Revive in the middle of the fight, but current call not able to deal as much of an impact as they would hope. BBTY taking down Exosen, but here we go. Krellik's easily going down to JLC, and Philippines just continuing to give chase. BBTY, will he be the next target? But no, TG just continues to give chase to BBTY here, and that is going to be a kill. Tomsu is now dominating. JLC going very aggressive onto the members of Team Singapore right here. Life for trying to run for dear life with a slither of health, and Team Philippines wanting to try to end this game. Look at them, Hit pushing as hard as he can. Revive trying to do what he can to defend his turn, but then again, Team Philippines with 4 members, it's the numbers game at this point. JLC on a killing spree, getting the kill onto Revive right there, and have all the makings of finishing this game. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the game for Game 3 of the Garena All-Star Championship 2016. Congratulations, Garena Pro Gaming Series All-Star Team, Team Philippines.